Today, at NBAA Base Static Display Area, I caught up with Tom Aniello, Vice President of Marketing for Pilatus Aircraft, to talk about their single-engine turboprop PC-12 NGX and their PC-24 twin jet.
We're happy to be here this week in Orlando. NBAA is one of the premier events in business aviation, and for us, it's very important to expose both the PC-12 and the PC-24 to a lot of corporate operators who come here and start looking at possibly how they'll change their fleet in the future, and being here and seeing it firsthand is about the only way to do that. And so we're happy to show off both aircraft while we're here, and mainly introduce people to the Pilatus family, the culture, the people. Our chairman from Switzerland is here this week, Hans-Uli Losli. Our CEO from Switzerland, Markus Bucher, is here. So they're eager to meet customers as well. We're actually, early next year in 2023, we'll deliver the 2000th PC-12. Which far exceeded the original business plan for the aircraft. And so it's a nice milestone to hit for Pilatus. And we still, even after 25 years of the program, it's still at the highest demand level that it's ever been. So right now, like a lot of other OEMs, we're constrained by production and supply chain issues. But we'll still deliver around 90 aircraft this year, and we'll try and, on the PC-12 side, and try and squeeze out a few more over the next couple of years. But I think it's still going to be a little while before we see it back to a level where we can build to what the market demands. But the NGX has just been a great upgrade. We're getting a lot of people upgrading to that from the previous version, the NG. So now with the electronically controlled engine and propeller, the first FADEC on a turboprop, it's really reduced pilot workload. We've got auto throttles that are on the aircraft, and then we had a complete redesign of the interior. So much more modern interior, a lot of cues from the PC-24. In fact, we reshaped the windows on the 12, made them about 10% larger, and it looks more like within the family of the 24. So it's been very popular. That airplane was announced here at NBAA 3 years ago, and then it was already certified when we announced it, and we began deliveries in 2020 then, shortly thereafter. And so demand for it, I think if we could build twice as many this year, we could sell them. I think everybody could say that. But our engineers are kind of at the core of everything that Pilatus does, and I think they have a real winner with the 12 and the latest version of it. So I think we'll continue going strong past 2000. The design of the airplane, I'll admit to you, was never really intended or thought that there would be a market for an executive corporate business travel aircraft. The low pressure tires, the trailing link landing gear, the cargo door, it was really designed for a utility type role to operate for air ambulances, essential air services. And then our dealership network quickly realized that by a change in making the cabin a little more luxurious, putting executive seats instead of commuter seats in it, that it was very popular with owner pilots and corporations. And so that really began what has become the vast majority of the market today, and that it is a corporate transport used in fractional service. But what's kind of neat about it is all of that turns out that we have a lot of very different market segments that value the features of the airplane. Being able to operate on gravel runways is very important to Royal Flying Doctor Service in Australia. Being able to operate from runways that are 2,600 feet long is very popular with people who need to go closer to an ultimate destination. And then the cargo door has made it very common or very popular in air ambulance operations, and people just love it because they can carry things that are so large and bulky that you really can't do with any other business aircraft. So it appeals to a lot of different market segments, which makes it, really helps us stabilize production. There's always some segment of the market that's in high demand. And then owner pilots love it. You know, it's about the biggest, fastest, highest performance airplane that an owner pilot can fly safely and get insured to fly, you know, which is a big deal these days. So A lot of our owner pilots can afford much more aircraft, but that's kind of the sweet spot where they feel comfortable and safe flying it themselves. There are two main sides to Pilatus's business: the military trainer side, the PC-21, the PC-9, and we like to have it kind of an even balance in the company. So being a private company, having two sides of the house that bring in revenue, we're really not working toward quarterly goals in terms of deliveries. So we're always watching the market. We're trying to, well in advance, working with our dealership network 2 and 3 years out, understand demand, and then we're always setting production levels that are right at or a little bit lower than that demand. The idea being, if we have demand that's higher than supply by a little amount, we're hitting it just right. We're not having to discount airplanes. It helps Pilatus, it helps our dealer network, but more importantly, it helps our owners because it retains the residual value, because the next guy coming to buy an airplane isn't getting a 20% discount on an airplane. And then, of course, in this market right now, I think everybody's enjoying that excess demand. And I mean, we're seeing 3-year-old used PC-12s, good 15% higher price than new airplanes. So it's a little out of whack. But I think even when this all settles down, we'll still have that high residual value for PC-12. People's first reaction when they see the PC-12 and they see the PC-24, the first question is, how did you jump from there to here? And I was part of a bigger team inside Pilatus when we were talking. I think we had 300 PC-12s in the fleet back in the early 2000s. And customers were asking us, well, what's next? What's Pilatus going to build next? And we asked owners, well, what did they want to see? Well, we don't want to lose the cargo door. We don't want to lose the short field performance. We'd still like the option to land on grass and gravel, but we want to go faster. And that desire for going faster, it doesn't matter what airplane you're in. I mean, I remember another program I was working on was one of the fastest business jets in the world, and people still wanted to go faster. So we started looking at, well, how much faster? And we didn't want to cannibalize sales of the PC-12. And so we looked at single engine turboprops, twin engine turboprops, single engine jet configurations, twin engine jet configurations, and finally settled on the concept that good 100 knots faster than a PC-12 would really differentiate it and not eat into PC-12 sales. And so if we're talking high 300 knots, the only way you can really get there is with a twin engine jet. And really, to be competitive in a twin engine jet, you needed to go a little bit faster. So we settled on 150 knots faster. So we've got 440 knots cruise speed with the 24, retained the cargo door, retained the off-paved runway capability. But then in that market, we decided we need to differentiate a little bit more, and that was in the cabin size. So even though this is a FAR 23 airplane, it's considered a light jet, you have a cabin that's actually competes more with mid-sized jets. Flat floor, much bigger cross section. It's 500 cubic feet of volume. Access to cargo in flight, baggage in flight, and the cargo door. So it's, that's how Pilatus survives. I mean, we don't compete head to head with anybody. We try to find little niches in the marketplace, and I think we were able to succeed with the 24 as well. And as far as the future, I can just say that we continuously invest in R&D to meet the demands of what our customers are asking for, and we will be able to reveal more in the future, but right now we have a couple of great airplanes that are in high demand.